Hey, welcome to Real Talk, episode 189. I'm Todd, this is AJ, and we're back.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the show. Excited to be on today. And my voice sounds so cool.
For a second there, I was about to say this was the most professional start we've ever had. And then that didn't go down.
No, because I realized when I said it, I was like, I am speaking so weird.
I thought it sounded nice.
Nice.
Anyway,
that's good to know.
Real Talk, you know what we're about. Real Talk, life, God, the Bible, everything in between.
Everything.
There's a link somewhere. You'll see it. If you follow that link, you can ask us questions anonymously about life, God, and the Bible, and we'll do our best to answer them. Maybe you're a Christian that has an embarrassing question and you feel it's embarrassing and don't want to ask someone in person. And maybe you're not a Christian, but you've always been curious about Jesus. Well, guess what? This is your opportunity. We'll also do some other stuff.
You found the place.
So, I think that's it, man.
That is it. That is the spiel.
It says here you're supposed to talk about, I think you're up on part C there. We've got show notes again today.
That's right. We got show notes, so no invisible ones like we had for live.
Yep.
So, for those of you that are watching, if you're a fan of this show and you enjoy watching Real Talk, we have what we call the Real Talk Real Ones Fan Club, where there's two tiers. Tier 1, $15. Tier 2, $30, where we give you guys per month. Yes, per month, where we give you guys exclusive content. And if you're in Tier 2, we give you exclusive merchandise. If you guys like the show and are willing to partner with us, we'll be able to give you guys all that fun stuff. It's amazing. I hope you guys like it. For those of you that have already given, it's coming.
Yeah, man, I think we got to do a little better than it's coming at this point. We're going to sell this. So, yeah, we got to actually do the stuff.
Yes, it will be to you guys. I don't know. We should give it a day, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
What is
now the sweatshirts, from what you told me, are done.
Yeah, the sweatshirts are done.
Our first big one for the Tier 3 folks who get them free merch, your sweatshirts are done. You'll be getting those this week.
Oh, yes.
So a special Thanksgiving surprise.
Oh,
right?
yeah, it is Thanksgiving week. It's awesome.
So happy Thanksgiving from us to you and from you to us. And as far as, I do believe we at least have one of our behind-the-scenes stuff that's going to our Tier 1s, right?
Yes. Yeah, we have one of them.
We'll send that this week, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So the plan will be this week.
This week?
What is this week? I suppose we should say that. This is the week of Thanksgiving.
The week of Thanksgiving it is.
So a lot of cool stuff. We are, anytime you start something new, there's some hiccups along the way.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, it's going to be worth it.
Oh, absolutely.
In fact, I'm very excited to see the sweatshirts, man.
Me too, man. Super excited
and they're
going
to be comfy for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Thanksgiving comfort. So you can eat all that turkey and stuffing.
And nobody will be able to see your bulging belly because it'll be in your sweatshirt.
That's right.
Anyway, moving on. That was good, man. Is that all you got about that?
Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got, yeah.
It says here we're supposed to catch up on our lives. Catch up. You have anything to say, man?
Yeah, man.
From what you told me earlier, you said, I actually did some thinking about my life and have some things to share today.
I did, man. Yeah, I actually decided
to
to take some time to think, which I don't do very often.
That's so ridiculous.
One thing, man, that that came to my mind when I was pondering earlier about life was just and you say this so much, dude, and like it always hits me, and it made me think myself, like, life is so short, dude, and I worry that I don't move much, and what I mean by that is, like, I don't take a lot of, like, steps in life a lot of the time, and it's because I'm just so busy worrying about what to what's next, what am I missing, what is it gonna look like, am I going to mess this up? Am I going to mess that up? And it's just like, I spend so much time worrying about all that stuff where I just don't enjoy life. I'm not very joyful. And life is just so short to be sad, to be down, to be anxious, to be overwhelmed. And it's like, man, it's all about the moments, dude, So just trying to take it moment to moment and, like, actually be here and be present and, like, it's all about making that choice in the moment to move. So when a moment comes, move. If you don't move, man, you got another moment coming. And just be. I don't know.
What do you mean by move? For people that are maybe tuning in for the first time.
Yeah. So, like, take action. Actually do what if you're a Christian watching, like, actually, take action in what Christ has told you to do. So, like, if you're sad in a moment, like, do you pray? Do you actually take that moment to do something that he's told us to do? Or do you read every day? Do you, if you see someone, they seem sad, do you take the time to talk to them? Do you actually do the things God's told us to do? So that's kind of what I mean by that. And then also, like, even in life, do you have something that you want to do? Do you have a dream? Do you actually go towards that dream, or do you just think it's unrealistic? When you have a moment when it comes, do you actually take action with it? Or do you not? So that's kind of what I mean by that. Another thing that I've realized is that I'm just been very tired lately. Been extra tired, just very lethargic. So that's been hard to kind of try to get past, because I'm a guy who naturally my tendency is to kind of like, oh, if I feel this way, this is just how it is. And so like being extra tired has made me kind of like not do as much. I've just kind of been like, you know what, I'll just kind of like chill for a minute, and then I chill for a long time because it's just like, oh, I'm so out of it. So yeah, I've been really tired lately. But that could just, I don't know, there's so many factors that could play into that. So let's see, what else? The gospel is not comfortable to tell to all people. That is another thing I have. What?
That's a big statement.
Yeah, man. You guys have heard us talk about before on this podcast. If you're new, we have a little men's group. It's like a accountability group called Lionheart. It's really cool. But one of our challenges is to tell someone the gospel every week this month. And man, it is uncomfortable, man. And because the reason why I put it's uncomfortable to tell to all people is because like that's our call. And it's like, we're supposed to spread the good news of the gospel to all people. And so what I've realized, man, is it doesn't matter how many times I do it or how many times that I am, I take that step and I try to tell someone the gospel, man, it's just never comfortable. And like, but then I remember that like, man, faith is uncomfortable. And like, those are the places I'm supposed to be at. And so it's one of those things where it kind of conflicts, because I can naturally want to be comfortable, but I'm called to be uncomfortable. So it's hard sometimes. But the hope in that, though, is that, like, man, when I am doing things and I'm not worried about what I'm supposed to, like, I guess, sorry, I'm kind of losing my thought. But, when I'm doing things and I'm not worried about, myself, and I'm just trying to honor God, those have been some of the most insane moments of my life, and they've been some of the best moments of my life. And I try to keep that in mind. Let's see here. Another thing, I'm beginning to see people again. And what I mean by that is like, I'm beginning to finally, see people in the sense of like, oh, like I can tell if someone's like maybe a little off, and I'm starting to get back to that place where I'm saying, hey, like, are you okay? Or, I'm saying, hey, like, I love you. Or, like, I'm starting to see people more, which is a really good feeling, because I know for a long time I was so, like, just indulged that I was starting to lose that. And so I feel like that's starting to come back, and that's really cool. Yeah, that's really all I had for my list of stuff that I thought about.
What do you think made it start coming back?
I think I've been more faithful in the fact that I've been, like, in my disciplines. Like, I've been reading better. I've been praying better. I've been more consistent with all that, and like, I've been taking my faith more serious, and I've been actually in a relationship with Jesus. And like, when you do that, it tends to naturally leak into how you live too, and like, it just becomes more natural to start to see people and like do what you're supposed to do. So like, I think that's been the key factor for sure. So
awesome. Sorry.
No, you're
I was thinking about what you said.
Yeah. So that is kind of my life in a nutshell, for me actually taking some time to think. So, yeah, man.
It's good. Do you feel better having kind of processed some thoughts?
I feel a little lighter. Yeah, that's a good question, man. I do feel a little lighter. I think that it's still hard for me sometimes to like think about this stuff. It took me longer than probably most people to come up with just those 4 points. But they got out. So like it definitely takes a weight off, because like for me, like my mind is usually racing with just so many things. So for me to be able to pluck a few out and just put them down was good. So yeah, it definitely makes me feel a little better, a little lighter. So, but
good, man.
Yeah, man. So I would say overall, like, still have just, I don't know, life is such a journey, dude. And have such a long way to go, but I'm excited to actually, it feels like I'm making progress in small ways that maybe I wasn't before. So
That's good, man.
yeah.
It's really good.
How are you doing, my friend?
What's the goal?
Oh, what's the goal?
Yeah, because you
Nice.
said I'm moving forward.
Mhm.
I'm excited. What is the goal? What is the moving forward into? That is.
I
When
feel
you
like
say that.
I feel like for me, man, the goal is I'm moving more towards who God's called me to be, which is to be more like Jesus. It's to be a leader. It's to be more more bold.
So how does that lead you to being more content? Do you think?
Because
you've been pondering this.
I think I'll have more fulfillment when I'm doing those things.
That makes sense.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'll have more fulfillment in that than when I'm going against it, and I'm not doing what I should be doing. So
Makes sense. I was just curious.
yeah, man. How about you, dude? How is the highway of life? You know my transitions aren't good in this.
Yeah, man. You have a lot of gifts though.
Thanks, dude.
Once again, we found out, this is an aside, that AJ is beloved by people. Now, here's the thing. I feel like people, and I've said this numerous times, think when I bring this up, because they don't know me like you guys do. Because the reality is, when I say something, I mean it, right? So if I say like if I was jealous of you being beloved,
Yeah.
right, I would say that, right? Anybody that knows me knows that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, right? Remember, we just said the other day, Muscles McGee, Big Luke, right? Did you hear him? When he's like, hey, so-and-so loves this guy. She tells me all the time.
Oh, yeah.
How'd you feel hearing from live that you have an infectious laughter? Did that make you feel good? Listen, I know I sound sarcastic, but I'm being serious.
I guess I didn't really let it hit me, but yeah, it's cool. Like I think I've been told that before, in the past. I've also been told that when I laugh, it makes other people laugh. So yeah, man, it feels good. Like it's nice to know that all I have to do is laugh and it can make people feel better.
It's true.
So, so yeah, it feels good. It's one of those things where it's like, but it's funny.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though?
No, what is it?
Is that I've also had people tell me that. So I have that laugh, right? But then I've also had people tell me that they're like, man, sometimes I can't tell if you're actually laughing for real, if you're just being condescending. And I'm like, oh, no, man, I really am laughing.
You've been told that before?
Oh,
Even
yeah.
before us?
Because
I haven't said that, but that's interesting.
yeah, I've been told that. So it's it's one of those funny things where it's because I don't have a consistent laugh. I laugh different ways.
You're really expressive in your eyes, man, more than you think you are.
Really?
So yeah, so I wonder sometimes if it's we've told you, like when it's you have that look in your eye and you're laughing and it turns from oh, this guy's having fun to he's a psycho. He hates everything. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you can't control that because it could be just that you really are laughing, but you're tired. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Oh, dude, because and then when I get tired, man, my eyes are just insane.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting.
So
there
that's probably what it is. But anyway, I thought that was a pretty cool, unique compliment to get
Yeah,
versus
man.
just
It is
I like
nice.
you. You know what I mean? To be told because that's one of the things, man, we probably take for granted. I have found that I am not great, even though I'm a huge words of affirmation guy. Meaning that's I appreciate words. It's hard for me to accept them.
Me too.
But specific things are so nice.
That was very nice.
Yeah. So anyway, as far as me, well, I also did a lot of thinking.
Nice, man.
I'm going to call this Todd's Tidbits because they're unrelated in so many ways.
I love this.
One, I feel like I want to give a shout out to a couple people.
Okay.
Some unsung heroes of Real Talk.
Unsung.
One is Norman.
Because
I've been on a kind of a break from Facebook and stuff, right? As you know. I haven't been able to see the comments. I've been relying on you guys, which you've never told me anything. But he has been commenting, and I love that. And what's really cool about Norman, if you're watching Norman, I really appreciate, is that you're literally, I can tell that he stops the video and responds during the thing. He's having a conversation with us. I think that's really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And I know maybe sometimes, Norman, you might think, because we all do that, we don't appreciate that or see it. But, man, I'm telling you, it was really cool. I kind of caught up on all that. The other one, and she will not like this either. If she's watching, she used to watch religiously. I don't know if she does anymore. If so, you have to say something. But Denise, you know Denise.
Yeah.
I just really appreciate Denise. It's a lady at our church. Just an awesome. She's kind of a rock star, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Everything she's
She's a
able to
rock
accomplish
star.
in life, and she does a lot of little things for people. Like, for instance, she's come to our flag football games to watch, which, at times are not anything fun to watch. But she's come almost, I think, every week almost.
I think so.
And
man.
I think
She
that's
has
just
been.
so cool that she does that. And so shout out to Denise too, man, for being just a kind of a super fan encouragement to us in general and the show.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that's another one we sort of met through the show and now is like a, family to us.
It's wild, man.
That just came to mind. I was thinking about them specifically. And there's a lot of other people out there too. There's a lot more people that watch the show than I give credit to. You know what I mean? So, guys, listen, we've said this before. If you're listening to this podcast, even if you have no idea who we are, and you're like, you know what, I somewhat enjoy this.
Yeah.
Just take a second, even on Spotify, to leave a review. But the purpose of the review is to just say, hey, guys, listening from wherever, because it is encouraging. Even if you think we know you're listening, so say you're a local person, it means a lot to us to hear that you're listening. So drop in a comment on the video, whether it's
true,
YouTube
man.
or Facebook or Rumble or Spotify or whatever. So
That's
I just
right.
want to say that. Thank you all so much.
I love that, dude.
Todd's Tidbits, that's one.
Todd Tidbits 1.
Todd Tidbits,
Todd.
that's what you said. Two.
It's a mouthful.
Two. I've been pondering about money recently.
Okay.
And I thought of something that I said to the HR person when I was working at the bank when they interviewed me, and how stupid I sounded.
Oh, gosh.
Now we're talking, and I believe this though, okay? And I'm processing on the air with you. I have not. When I say I thought about these things, what I really mean is a thought came to my mind, and I'm now just going to say it.
Gotcha.
I did no processing. Money. So I remember telling this lady, and this is kind of indicative of my life. They're asking, what motivates you? And I was like, listen, money doesn't motivate me. Doesn't motivate me.
Yeah.
I'm motivated by being the best at something. Like I want to succeed. I like to hit goals. And that's still true. But also, what a naive view of life. Because the reality is, being where I'm at now, money, and we've talked about this, money's not wrong.
No.
The obsession with money is, as believers, and the love of money is the root of all evil, meaning when we end up making that the most important thing, that's not going to happen. I shouldn't say it, knock on wood, right? That's not going to happen to me because I just don't put it. You guys know me. That's not who I am.
Yeah.
But I have learned that, I really feel lately this urge to really push forward in finding different streams of income so that I can help people, so that I can take care of business, so I can provide, for Daisy and the family and all this kind of stuff. And I've really been, I even have notes I'll show you later. So for instance, I don't think I've said this online, but you guys know, I'm wanting to start a clothing line.
Yep.
And I've sort of been waiting around because I realized I'm not entirely great at art.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was kind of waiting. I've pitched to you possibly joining the business.
Yeah, dude.
But then you went off on your own, so then you're out. And then other people, right? Like Louisiana Hot Sauce also decided to go off on his own, right? Steal ideas. No bitterness here. But I really think I'm just going to shoot it. So the idea of the clothing line is, clothing with short messages that get conversation started that I would want to wear. So sort of cool, classier stuff.
Yeah.
You'll see. But I'm going to do that and just take a chance. The other thing I want to do is get into properties and stuff. But the thing I've realized is we are not taught about money in school, if you really think about it. We're not taught how to manage money.
Nope.
We're not taught how to make money, really.
Not at all.
So that's just been something strange for me that's been a little different, is this idea that I really want to move forward with some of my ideas to do that. And the other thing I realized is, in a weird way, I have grown up thinking, maybe once I don't necessarily think I grew up this way, but I think in my Christian, since I'm a Christian, to almost feel like the pursuit of making money is wrong, and it's affected my life. And even though I know it's not wrong, I'm saying I know it's not. I would never tell anyone that. I've never thought that. But for me, it felt like I was selfish, or I never wanted anyone. I guess it goes back to this pride area in me where I never wanted to be accused of being arrogant or wanting money. So I would like almost go the opposite way and hinder myself just so no one could say he's just doing stuff for the money. It makes sense?
Interesting. Yeah.
So why do I tie that? Well, there's a lot of things we do for free, man, that other people get paid for. So like, no offense to the people listening to this show, but we do this show every week.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me, and we've always talked about doing these sponsorships. In fact, some people have wanted to pay to get a spot on this show for advertising purposes, and we would never take anything we don't believe in.
Yeah.
And I just think we haven't done that, man, because it's sort of crazy. It's like a double-edged sword. I think all of us in this room, even, we are motivated. We want to, for kingdom stuff, we want to love people and help people.
Absolutely.
Right? And so we haven't really made that a priority.
True.
So people think that we have because we'll mention it, but we really haven't. If we did, we wouldn't be doing this show because it takes a lot of our time.
Yeah, it does.
So anyway, just this process, I guess, of thinking about that. But the thing is, I look at people in my life and I know them. Some friends, even in our church, that sponsor the show, right? People, friends. And they're obsessed with money, man. And all it leads them to is a constant state of anxiety.
Yeah.
Now, I don't feel that necessarily, but I feel like it's just another, I don't know, man. Something I've been pondering is how I've hindered myself with a kind of a false guilt.
Interesting.
So just a thought I'm throwing out there.
Yeah,
Just
man.
been processing.
I
Clothing
appreciate
line,
you
too.
saying that, dude.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's one thing I've always appreciated about you, man, is, like, you were just so good at, like, oh, gosh, man, words are not working today.
I get it.
You're just really good at self-reflection. That's what it is. Like you're able to see those things about yourself. It's so cool.
Well, thank you for saying that. Sometimes I think I can be paralyzed by analysis, right? The whole paralysis by analysis. But
Yeah.
But yeah, so the clothing line, all that to say is, and I'm kind of saying this publicly so I can people are going to ask about it. My plan is to get that stuff going, at least the first winter line. I've even written it out. My winter line here, the first one, winter line 1.
Nice.
By, within a month.
Heck yeah, dude. That's exciting.
Yeah, so, maybe I'll buy some sponsorship time on this show, to get that going. But be on the lookout for that because I think it'll be cool.
Be on the
Might
lookout.
be rocking it. Second, thirdly, fourthly, whatever I'm on. I wanted to give a shout out to Sprite Zero cranberry.
Okay, nice.
So everyone knows here that I like Sprite Zero. Right?
I wasn't expecting that.
Now, I'm not giving free advertising because, frankly, Sprite,
Yeah, they don't need it, man.
you have never appreciated my love for you. But, and I've always said that Sprite Zero is superior to regular Sprite because regular Sprite is somewhat syrupy, if you've ever had it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as you can tell, what made me think of this was this can that was sitting right over here behind me. If you're listening to the podcast, it's a Sprite Zero winter spiced cranberry. It appears to be a limited edition Christmas flavor. And it's very popular because it was at the local Mart wall. Mm-hmm. And there was a bunch. They're gone. Can't find them.
Dang.
But they're very tasty. That's it.
All right.
Go give
Shout
that a
out.
try,
Shout out to Cranberry Sprite Zero.
Yeah.
I love that.
All right. So, what else should I tell you guys?
I don't know. Let's go for all of them, man.
One. I think I don't know if I mentioned, we have so many conversations that I forget where I say things. So if I've already said this on the show, forgive me. But I think I told you guys, I think I did last week. I believe it was Tuesday of last week where I told you I was super sick, tired, and I was about to get in the shower, and I had this, and I was like, today's terrible, and I'm grumpy, and all of a sudden I had this epiphany of like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be grumpy to people. Like, I'm not going to do that thing where I'm so focused on myself that I'm spilling on people and coming up with a bad attitude. And it's crazy, man, knock on wood again, because it has lasted even today. I kind of found myself in sort of like a stressed mood, which I noticed was leading to sort of negative, frustrating thoughts, and I caught them again. And I guess I say that to encourage you out there that, like, if you're grumpy or things are going bad, you can take those thoughts captive. You really can. And so I guess I'm sharing, it's one of those moments where the Bible gives us direction and we kind of think it's good advice, but then you end up finding out it's real and you actually can do that. So I took my thoughts captive and chose to not live out of those emotions. And it's just that old saying, right? When you choose to not live as though it's that way, you're grumpy, then you become not grumpy.
That's good.
Makes sense?
Yep. It's
God's
convicting
tidbit.
too because, I remember like I think I might have said that last week or the week before, but like I totally get that because, when I am pursuing Christ more, man, like I can make those decisions so much easier to be joyful, to live out of the truth instead of just living in the lie of my emotions a lot of the time. So like I get that, dude. That's really cool that you're able to do that.
Yeah,
and it's lasted.
Well, yeah, and I think that's what's cool about it for me. Maybe to other people that's not a huge deal, but I think that was one area that I sort of have not taken captive over the years, is the times when I'm almost in my head, and I'm not intentionally being mean to people, but when I'm frustrated or sick or tired, and then I end up being short with people. Like, you don't realize the effect you have on people. And we talked about that last week.
Yep.
Now I have a question for everyone.
Okay.
I've been telling you guys that my goal is to do things that are fun, and I have failed miserably for the most part. So my question is, what should I start doing for fun? Because, and if you're listening and you're a viewer on the show, this is an opportunity for you to just take part in my life, like I am the Truman Show, and you can do a vote. What should I start doing for fun? Because the truth is, I'm not saying I never have fun.
Yeah.
But as far as intentional fun, it's pretty rare. And part of that, if I'm just honest, this is going to sound so mopey, is because I'm not sure that anything is fun. So that leads me to that. So if you're out there listening, what do you do for fun? What do you suggest I do for fun? I'd love to know.
You know I'm not the guy to ask.
Yeah, I know. But maybe someone out there is.
Maybe.
So leave a comment. You can use the link at www.theremnant.life/real-talk. Help Todd have fun.
You know what we can do?
Yeah?
We can just sit around and listen to some music.
Yeah. Here's my
music, AJ.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna tell you exactly. No, and this isn't your fault. Okay, I think I should. You just made me think of another memory. This show's off the rails. People are not listening probably, but I'm gonna tell you a memory.
Okay.
And it finally hits me of two things you're about to learn about me.
Okay.
As everyone knows, I'm not a big fan of country music,
Mm-hmm.
and that you're like, Todd, that has nothing to do with me. But when I think of sitting around listening to music, over the years you've probably noticed, like, man, Todd just doesn't want to sit around and listen to music very often.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a music guy.
Mm-hmm.
I like music. It's because every Sunday when I was a child, we didn't go to church. You know what Sunday was? It was cleaning day. And you know what we did? My parents would turn on the stereo system they had and turn on mostly country music that I always felt to be incredibly sad.
And they would just clean to it.
And we because I would be cleaning as well.
Yeah.
And we weren't allowed to turn the TV on.
Just blaring
So it was
country
just music day. And now I literally, and I'm not saying it's wrong because they probably enjoy music, but to me, I wonder if that feeds into like, man, I just can't it makes me feel trapped.
Yeah. Interesting.
And that's the end of the story there. But so listen to music, and I'll put that on the list. Probably be down a little bit, but it's on there.
Interesting. It'll be down the list.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. You're not in a super lonely time like I was, but you can, at my most loneliness, I went to, I can't give them a free ad, but I went to a laser tag place, and I got a membership there, and I played with professional laser tag players for like a month or two.
By yourself?
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm going to be honest. I see that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I respect that. This guy decided I'm going to do something fun. Even if it's on my own, I'm just going to go out, take a chance to do fun. Right?
Sure.
So that goes on the list. Get a laser tag.
And go
maybe.
golfing.
It was a bunch of fun.
You know I tried that.
Oh,
I love golf.
One time. You do.
You'll meet random people there too. I met a bunch of people from Wabash, and then went to a rodeo with them.
Bowling could be interesting.
I love bowling too.
Wow. Rodeo.
Yeah, I'll go to a rodeo with you too. I've been meaning to go to one.
You know what? I used to watch a rodeo at the old Elkhart County 4-H fair, one of the largest
What else would I?
4-H fairs in Indiana.
We used to go out to eat a lot.
Who?
Like actually go out to eat.
Yeah.
Like sit down and like.
Yeah. The problem is
so cool.
What'd you say?
The problem is it's so cold.
Most of what we did, like let's say with us even,
Yeah.
people are so, I'm just going to be honest with you, mopey, that when we do anything together, everyone is sad. And that's so depressing. And that's sometimes I'm like, dude, why do we do that? And it makes it seem like, I don't know if they're sad or not, or maybe just in their head, but it's like.
But either way,
it
they're
gets
not
to you.
present.
Yeah,
or
not
they're-
present. That's a good way to
Yep.
put it.
Either way, it's not good because they're either, like you said, sad, mopey, not present, and then like no one's in the same place. I know you said that before, and then it's hard to enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've wondered if it's because we are all, specifically the group of people that we're all friends with, is we are all on, which by the way, also the majority of our group is introverts, which is hilarious. Though most people would be like, oh, they're all extroverts. Nah, most of us are introverts.
Yeah.
I wonder if we have to put on a face so much sometimes or be like this, because it's not all fake, but we're definitely like, we have to be the happy ones, because when we get around other people, this isn't always the case, but when we get around other people, a lot of times they're even mopier than we are deep down, so we have to be like, yeah, how are you guys? And then by the time we're around each other, we're just like,
Exhausted.
did you see what happened today?
I mean, that could be part
tired.
of it. It's possible that could be part of it. I don't know.
It's not just us though, man. People in general. We're so humans. Just at least most of the people I hang around with are so constantly worried about something that it's very difficult for them to be present.
Yep.
And that used to be a reason that I would not hang out with people sometimes is they'd want to, but the entire time they're there, they've put this hard line stop time on it, right? Like we're going to spend time together for 30 minutes or 2 hours, and at 9 p.m. we have to, it's just, I struggle to live in those boxes sometimes.
Yeah, well, because like I know you struggle with feeling trapped, and like that there's like a trapped feeling of like one thing to the next, like there is no leeway, and that is stressful. It is very stressful.
Yeah, and I'm sure I do it too. And like I said, I'm not the life of the party anymore, but I want to get back to having fun. So I know I've taken a lot of time. I have one more thing to share. This one's more encouraging.
I love it.
So speaking of Norman, he sent me I got a voicemail from the other day. I feel bad I didn't get to call him back. But he told me this story in the voicemail. And this is kind of encouraging, and also for those who share positive things on social media that you don't know the impact it's going to have. So this week we had a message called Liar Liars and a sermon at our church.
Yep.
And part of it was, following scripture, and the challenge really is like following the way, Jesus is the way, and actually following it and his word, and kind of talked about, there was a part in it where it's like, do you forgive? Just giving examples like, do you really follow? Do you forgive? Do you love? Well, so he goes to a local fast food place, and there was a lady who has visited several times our church, but she wasn't there that week. This past Sunday. But this was like Monday, I believe. But she watched it. And then she shared it with a friend. Okay? I may get this details wrong, but it's somewhat similar. This friend, I think it was this friend, so the friend of this other, listened to it and randomly got convicted about the fact that she had no relationship with her sister, whom she hadn't forgiven in years.
Wow.
And reached out to her sister.
That's wild.
And reestablished a relationship. All because of a message that was shared from someone to someone. Isn't that really cool, man? How God can use things. And a lot of times we're embarrassed to share those things, but we'll share, silly stuff. So, I don't know. I just thought that was really cool encouragement that you never know the little things. And that wasn't even the main point of the message necessarily, right?
Yeah, but still.
God's going to work on us in the ways that he wants to work on us.
Yeah, man.
And heal us and stuff. So I thought that was cool.
That is absolutely incredible, dude. Wow.
So it was cool of him to share that too.
It's the power of the internet, man.
Yeah, that's
usually used for good, yeah.
Anyway, I suppose that was my rambling. Thank you for listening.
I loved it, man. Thank you so much for letting us in on your life, dude.
Yeah.
So cool. A lot of good stuff. Shout out Sprite.
Sprite. So, moving on to questions, I believe.
Yes.
You ready to begin this journey?
I'm ready to begin the journey of the question asking.
Oh, fun. You were just saying yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready. We got a bunch that are coming in on too. We got even more.
Just now, since we started?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, at least one more now.
Now I got to look. Anyway.
Wow.
We're going to start with some softballs here.
Some softballs.
What are you thankful for this year?
I am thankful for the remnant. I'm thankful for the church, man. Yep, thankful for the church that I attend. A lot of this place is special, man. You guys have dealt with my junk a lot, and loving me radically through it all. For the good, for the bad. I've never experienced that kind of love, honestly. And so I'm just very thankful, so thankful for it. So
it's good, man. What am I thankful for? Yeah, I'm thankful for my friends. I'm beating a dead horse, but it's been such a crazy thing, man. I'm thankful for my daughter. Just changed my whole life. Not just the way I even look at life, you
Yeah,
know, and
man.
appreciating small moments. Had that time this morning with her where she's just sitting on my lap, and my mind was starting to think ahead to today when I go into work. This really is a real story too. And I stopped and I said, no, man, because I'm going to look back someday and wish I'd have been present in this moment. And so I just forced myself to be present with her just sitting on my lap watching a show, you know, and it was just a cool moment. She's really changed my life.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, her middle name's Grace, for those who don't know. And it's like, I really do believe that's what she's been to me, is just like God's grace to me in ways I didn't know I needed, you know, really changed me and made me like see outside myself even more. So I'm very thankful for that. Thankful for my friends, my family, you know. Yeah, thankful for God's grace. And I'll tell you another thing I'm thankful for that I think is give a little bonus. I'm thankful to live in the country I live in.
Yeah,
And look
man.
around the world, man, and for all of our flaws, still very thankful to live in this country.
Me too,
I'm
man.
blessed.
That's I love that you said that. It's so true.
All right, man. I think you're up.
Yes. What's your favorite type of pie this time of year? Another softball.
Favorite type of pie? I actually do love pie. We've talked about this in the past more than cake. I'm definitely one of the fruit pie guys.
Yep.
So here's a pie that's pretty rare. I don't know if people strawberry pie,
Interesting.
but pretty rare. I love cherry pie, apple pie, any of the pie, especially the apple pie that's got the crumbles on the top. I don't know what that's called.
No idea.
You know what I'm talking about, though?
Yeah.
I like apple pie.
Apple pie, man. Nice.
What about you?
Dude, I'm just not much of a pie guy.
So you won't eat any pie on Thanksgiving?
He's also not much of a cake guy either.
yeah, I'm not much of a cake guy either.
So what do you eat for your dessert on Thanksgiving?
No, sometimes
Rolls.
nothing, man. Yeah, sometimes nothing. Just depends. Maybe a cookie if there is cookies. But
A
like
lot of cookies there?
sometimes.
Yeah.
But
I don't think I've ever had a cookie on
Now,
Thanksgiving.
You eat
I
just
will-
Hawaiian rolls.
Oh,
That's your
I
dessert.
do love Hawaiian rolls.
Pretty good.
I will say, like, out of any pie I've had, probably like a chocolate pie.
Oh, you like a cream pie?
Yes,
Nice.
that kind of thing. Like, yep, those kind of pies are pretty. Like, I can eat those. Yeah. So yeah, more of like a chocolate pie sort of a guy.
All right, fun turn. You got a favorite pie?
Yeah, the older I get, it thins out more.
Same here.
Like I've slowly started becoming an old man. I really like I don't get to have it very often, but I like pecan pie. Really,
Oh, dude,
I love
underrated
pecan
pie, man.
Uh-huh.
That was like a staple in our family on Thanksgiving. Now you said that, my growing
yeah.
up, pecan pie. That's a good one.
Peanut butter pie too is probably peanut butter and pecan pie are
I'd
probably my
imagine
two
I'd probably like
favorites.
peanut butter pie too.
I'm picky on my peanut butter pie. I love peanut butter pie if it's gonna say if it's very peanut buttery.
Gotcha.
Because sometimes they can err on the side of creamy, like milky, more than peanut butter with a faint, you know.
Yeah.
But pecan, man, good choice. I forgot about that one.
Oh yeah, I've thought about going to the store and just buying one and eating it.
You
all by
should, because
myself.
we could get them right now. Well, that
yeah.
part maybe you should share, but you could.
I mean, it's probably wise I share.
You can get
'cause
those
it's-
mini ones though.
Oh yeah.
Rant. Never mind. Never mind. It was completely off topic.
Oh yeah,
was
they
it
were
gonna be?
stocking up on it.
I was gonna
You gotta
say,
say it now.
random thing was that I was like, because you guys talking about like pie and like cake. I still don't like cheesecake. People love cheesecake.
I love
hate-
cheesecake.
Cheesecake's
can't-
pretty good,
I
yeah.
can't
And I
do
and
cheesecake.
if you're considering cheesecake a pie, I certainly like it.
Because it's kind of served in pie form, isn't it?
Yeah, man, that's been the great debate. I think I've probably viewed cheesecake as a pie myself,
I
even
was
though
kinda
I
wondering
don't.
that.
But I guess I don't think of it that way when you think of
No.
pie.
I think
But I don't think
more
of it as a
like
cake either.
It's
just
it's like your own
cheesecake.
thing.
Yeah. Anyway.
Cheesecake is cheesecake.
All right, man. Here we go. This one's getting a little more real here. Well,
All right.
I mean, they're all real, but why? Actually, I'd like to know a poll. Let us know what your favorite pie is. We'll
Nice.
put the results up. Favorite pie? Drop it in the comments or use the link if you're on Spotify, because I need to know what the most popular pie for Thanksgiving is.
We'll get the poll out to you.
What's that?
We'll get the poll out to you.
This is what it sounded like you said. I'll poll out to you. I'll poll out to you.
Yeah.
I was like, what does that mean? Anyway, AJ, why do hurting people hurt people? That's a deep one, man.
Man, I kind of, gave this a little thought, but I believe they're just living out of the hurts they have been wounded by. They do it. I think they kind of do it for self-preservation. They don't want to be hurt again, so they'd rather be the one hurting than be hurt. So I 100% believe a lot of the time it's a self-preservation thing.
It's a good question. How so? The self-preservation part, though.
Because it's almost like a deflection. Like it's like a guard against. It's like a guard for their heart.
Oh, that's good, man.
Yeah.
Sort of like a wounded animal.
So they'd rather be the one hurting than hurt.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm just thinking through that. I think that's really good. Sort of like a wounded animal. It depends on the person, man. But I guess you said hurting people. I think that, and the other part I would add to that, I agree with you, is just you get so caught up in your own hurts that you don't even think about how you're affecting other people.
That's
You know what I
true.
mean?
That's very true.
And misery loves company. I think there's some evil, sinful part of us sometimes. It's like if I'm hurting, I'm going to make sure everybody's hurting around me.
Dude, that's really good too, man.
Even if it's unintentional. It's not like they're probably thinking.
Yep, because they don't want to be alone in the misery.
Yeah, it's a good thought, though.
Yeah. Todd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my name.
Why do people struggle with depression?
I guess I'll start with the answer that we know in the world, right? I mean, the easy answer is sometimes, based on what we're told. There's chemical imbalances, right? I mean, there's people who, when you're in a funk or something happens, that something can flip in your brain and stop producing certain things. But I also think there's a couple other aspects to depression. The other one is going to seem hokey to some of you out there, but I think it's true. I think spiritual aspects to that. We get attacked with negative thoughts and lies and things like that. The other thing I would say is, depression is typically, if you really think about it, depression is just the absence of hope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that when we lose hope, we get depressed. So you're like, okay, Todd, well, how do we not lose hope? Well, you don't lose hope by not making the instance that you're in, or the period of time that you're in, or the situation that you're in. You've got to remember that that's not everything there is, and it's not permanent. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it's not that there's, because that's what happens, man. We have these situations that are very serious and real and hurtful, but our minds, I don't know if it's because of the way humans are, but our minds begin to think that's never going to end. That place we're in is all there is, right?
Yeah.
When I was at my most depressed, that's what it literally felt like. It felt like there is because you can't see the way out of it, quote, right? Air quotes, out of the situation. No. So you start to go, this pain I feel is never going to end. And then what happens then is you lose hope. And when you lose hope, then it becomes this cycle. That's just kind of how I think of it.
Yeah.
And, and I think it's much easier. I mean, certainly Christians get depressed. But, even if you take medicine, there's aspects of it. There's a hole in our heart, man, that only can be filled with God. And that's just reality.
It's good, man.
And whether people know it or not, when you put your faith in things that are going to let you down to fill that's going to constantly lead you to a cycle of disappointment. You go from relationship to relationship. So when you're those people that are, kind of worshiping or idolizing relationships, everything's great when they have one. When it's not going well, boom, you crash again, because everything is resting on that. It reminds me of what Jesus said when he said, the wise builder and the foolish builder. The foolish builder builds his house on sand, and when the storms come, it's washed away, right? And he says, the wise man builds his foundation on a rock, and the rock is Christ, because he can't be taken away. So, anyway,
man, it's
good, hard, dude. Though, man. I wrestle. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I've struggled with depression many times in my life. The thing about me and depression for me is I don't sit there and think I'm depressed. You just start to, it's almost like it's a quicksand, right?
Yeah, man. It becomes like a state of being that you don't even realize you're in.
Yeah, and for me, it's more, it always showed itself, ironically, because I was joking earlier, of most of the time it would be like I would stop enjoying anything. Yep. Everything would seem kind of gray, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So it would be less about sadness and more about lack of joy. So anyway, I don't know. And I also think as believers, man, when we don't do what God tells us to do, it's like fish out of water. If you're depressed and you're a believer, I would ask, are you praying? Are you in the Word? Are you in community? Are you doing anything He says before you give up? You know what I mean? Before you assume that, you're stuck in that, I guess.
Yeah.
And you're not alone, though, if you're depressed. And I promise you, there's people that love you, that care about you, and share that stuff with people, man. I know the feeling sometimes when you're depressed is that people are going to think you're weak or that no one cares, but there are people in your life that care, and you just got to give them a chance.
It's good, man.
Because that's when it gets really scary, is when you're depressed and you feel alone on top of that. And that's what leads to thoughts that are kind of coming up here in this third question.
Yep.
Which is, why do people have thoughts about killing themselves?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's my question to you.
I think, honestly, it leads to exactly what you just said. Like, I think that they get in that depression, and that you stack loneliness on that, and then you stack, people,
Hopelessness, yeah.
exactly, you stack hopelessness, and then you can, people don't see a point in living anymore. And it sucks, man. But like, yeah, I think it has a lot to do with what you said, you know. I think that those thoughts come, and it's clearly an attack. I think that people, trying to think about how to word this. God doesn't want that, and God is a God of hope, and I think that when people have these thoughts, I think what you said was really good, and I think there's also an attack from the enemy in some cases too, that like he wants you to have those kind of thoughts of suicide. He doesn't want you, he wants to play you into that trap that there is no hope, and that's the only way out, and that's not true.
It's not true, and that pain is real, and that emotional pain. It can be worse than physical because there's nothing you can do about it, and it's what it feels like.
Yeah.
But I think you hit the nail on the head, man. And we sort of talked about it in the depression. You start to lose hope, and you have to. That's why it's so important to talk to someone so that you can get perspective.
Yeah, you can't do
because
it.
maybe you really aren't seeing the good in your life because of where you're at, but someone else can go, "Hey, man, look at this. Look what you have going for you. Look at
Absolutely, man. Because when you're in it and you're just in your own life, you hardly ever see the good.
It's so hard to see it when
don't
you're
see
lost
it.
in the woods, right, or in the valley. So
Yep.
yeah, and I agree with you, man. Listen, God would never, ever want you to kill yourself. That is never God. Those thoughts are not from God.
It's true.
And the Bible says there's no condemnation in Christ. The Bible says that Jesus himself said, I've come to give you life and give it to the full. God is never behind that feeling to kill yourself, and let that sink in too.
It's good, man.
Ever. So,
It's good.
anyway, next up, man.
Well, I think that was...
No, we got something that came in, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right. My bad.
You didn't pull it up, so now I got to read it to myself.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Yeah,
It's fine. It's fine. I'll read it, but you still should pull it up.
Okay.
As a Christian wife, do my desires matter? I love the design that God has given marriage and that he has given wives the role of being the helper, and I think it's beautiful. However, there are days where it can feel so heavy and sad. Do my desires ever matter as a wife? So long as my husband isn't actively sinning against me, do my hurts and wants in our relationship even matter?
They definitely matter. Sorry, I'm trying to get caught up on the question still. I was reading through it again as you were saying it. Yeah, I mean, your desires definitely matter. I think it's one of those things where, like, if it doesn't take your husband sinning against you for your hurts and like your desires to matter, like, to me, that they exist outside of the fact that like your husband has to sin against you. That's two separate issues, in my opinion. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, and I think that's what they're saying too. So they're saying my husband isn't actively sinning against me, but yet isn't actively giving me the desires of my heart, let's say. That's what it kind of seems like, right? Yeah, so part of this is going to sound good, and part of it's going to be challenging to you probably. The first part is I agree with AJ. Of course they matter, and they matter to God, and they should matter to your husband. But let's say it was the other way around, and your husband was saying that you weren't giving to him the desires of his heart, and you were trying. Let's say that it was just something you don't naturally do well.
Okay.
What does he do then? Could he say the same thing? If my wife doesn't respect me, should I just give up? Not sinfully, but she just doesn't honor me. So I think sometimes, and this is hard to say, if you first of all talk to your husband and share with him these feelings, especially if he's not sinning. But let's assume that for some reason he's not responding correctly, or he doesn't get it, or your heart doesn't feel like he cares. Because I think it's very interesting that the implication is if he's not sinning, then what? Well, then I would say you've got to take that desire and give it to God and trust that God's going to work that out and focus on serving him. And that sounds so selfish, right? And I would say the same to him. If there's a husband out there that's like, man, my desires in my heart, my marriage just aren't getting met. And it's like, that's why we have to put our full faith in God and focus on loving the other person.
It's really good, man.
And trusting that God's going to work that out for your good, because he promises that, right? In Romans, I'm going to work out all things for the good of those who believe according to my purposes. That's what he says, to his purposes. So, yes, of course they matter. And of course your hurts matter, but I guess you can't control someone else's response. So what I would say to you is, what desire are you really wanting fulfilled?
Hmm.
You know, is there something deeper than that one action? I don't know the answer to that. But if you're listening to this and we didn't answer your question in full, let us know. Like, send us a kind of a follow up so we can like speak even more specifically into it. But I think that's a really beautiful and honest question that you asked, and I think it's even beautiful that you started with a positive, saying, "Hey, I believe in the way God says things, but sometimes it feels so heavy," and
That's
I
really good,
believe
man.
that to be that's heavy, but it's heavy for both people. That's why marriage is tough, right?
Absolutely.
Paul even says that.
Hmm.
The Apostle Paul says that marriage is a beautiful thing designed by God, but it's also got challenges.
That's
You
good,
got
dude.
two, broken people who God is changing and whose rough edges are going to hit each other. But that's why it's such a beautiful picture of God in the church, right? And like true covenantal love that says, "I will love you even when you don't love me."
That's really good, man.
those kinds of
I
things.
like that you pointed it back to like focus on loving them, because like you said, that is the best example of Christ in the church. I love that, dude.
But that, yeah, thanks, man. But that, just so you hear my heart on that, that doesn't mean your desires don't matter. Of course they do.
Yes.
And I don't want you to think that, because that's a lie, right? That's another trap. Well, no one cares. God doesn't care about my heart. Of course he does. It's just you can only control you, and God has a lesson in that and can somehow turn it around for you. I believe that. Like, there's good in that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, great question.
Next question says, how do you get out of a funk? When you feel down for whatever reason, how do you choose to get out of that funk? What helps you?
Well, one of them is I kind of shared earlier, is I have to make the choice. I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but for me, this is truly Todd's thing. I have to choose to say, I'm going to love other people. I'm going to be active in choosing to love other people and bring joy to them, even if I don't have joy in myself, right? So that's one thing I do. Another thing I do is exercise. Another huge thing I do, and the guys know this, is I love to process with people.
Yes.
And share. And that always helps me too.
Oh, yeah.
Is talking to someone close to me and sharing my thoughts, even if they sound ridiculous, just to get someone to speak into it. Pray, of course. Lord, help me. And that's real. God answers prayer.
Yes.
I don't think of anything else specific. Did I say exercise?
Yep.
That too.
Yeah, we said exercise.
Yeah, what about you? You got anything extra?
Honestly, man, I mean, I don't think anything extra. I think the biggest thing is just like, like you said, focusing on loving others, even when you don't feel it for yourself. Like, that's really important. And anytime I've ever felt down, and again, this is not something I'm very good at, but like the moments I've decided to love people despite that, it helps. It does.
It also helps for me. That's really good, man. And it helps me too, as I was thinking about what tangibly helps me, is when I'm in the right space, because I'm not always.
Yes.
Is the reminder of like, okay, have perspective here. What's going on? Why am I in a funk? Is there an external factor that I can't control? Is something going on? Sometimes it's simple. Am I not getting enough sleep? Am I not eating well? Am I sad? Do I have relationship issues that I don't know about? Do I have a hurt that's unresolved? Do I have sin? Sometimes that can help too, because maybe
Definitely.
it's kind of like having a splinter. Maybe there's something you can pull out that will help you not be in that funk. But sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it's just life, and you just walk through that valley and trust God and come out on the other side.
Yeah, man.
Great
That's
question.
really good.
All right, man. My question for you. Great
Yes.
questions. What are God moments? What are, and put in quotation marks, God moments? We've certainly talked about some of those.
Yeah, man. I think God moments are those moments in life where like you almost feel like life stops.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost like life goes in slow motion, and God's trying to tell you something in this moment. Or it's a miracle. Like you realize this is a miracle. And that's, and it can be anything.
Yeah, it's kind of like when God crashes into your world.
Yes, he like reveals himself.
For real, yeah.
And it's like, whoa. Like like God moments are those moments where it's you can't deny it.
Yeah.
Like
Heaven
you
and
can't
earth
deny
touch,
that
man,
this was God. Like there's just no way.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that you said it feels like time stops. That's so true, man. That God's trying to say something to you. Sometimes it's just something as simple as like, look how beautiful this is. Look at life. Some of the most powerful God moments I've had is seeing, him, I don't know, heal and I mean internally, right? Or move in someone's life. And those are so powerful, like life change, or the moments in worship,
Oh, dude, I've had
It's
those moments
crazy,
in
and
worship.
it is. There's a song that says that, but it feels like I love what you said. It's all true, and it's like when heaven for me, it's like when heaven meets earth, man. It's like a thin spot. All of a sudden, it just crashes for a second, and you remember what the truth is, and you remember what's coming. Right?
Yep, and it's
Good.
an overwhelming feeling of joy.
Yeah.
To me, it's the only kind of good overwhelming I've ever felt.
And sometimes it's him telling you something too, and it's like, whoa, I better listen.
It's true.
All right, it's good stuff, man.
And we have one more question here. It says, "Do you guys have any pets?"
This is a sore spot for me.
It is a sore spot for you.
A few years ago, I murdered my best friend.
You didn't murder him, Todd.
That was my dog, Modi. He was a black German Shepherd, and I know everyone says this, but he was the smartest dog in the world, the best dog in the world. He legitimately saved our lives.
He did.
No one, I don't know if we talked about this. I think we did a few years ago, but we had a guy break into an unstable drug addict felon who was going to hurt us. May have killed us. He broke into the apartment that we were in, and we were sleeping.
Yep.
And my dog not only barked, and he was the nicest guy. He's never aggressive. That's what's crazy. Barked to wake us up. He attacked the guy and drove him out of our house, man.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and you slept through it all.
I slept through it all.
But anyway, I ever since that happened, I know people say it a lot, and I used to think, man, it's just been hard, man. I think, when was that? When did that happen?
2020, I think.
Was it 2020?
I think so.
Beginning? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just really hard, man. I had him for 12 years, since he was like 7, 8 weeks old, all the way till year 12, and
Yep.
I had to put him down because he started losing. He had a lump on his leg, and I let him stay with that for a while, but it was hard, man. It's hard to even think of another animal now.
Yep.
So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
That's
I know
all
it's
right.
hard
Hey,
on
you
you.
love that guy too. He's a good dog.
I loved Modi. I've had plenty of dogs in my life, and Modi is still number one.
He was special.
It
Man.
literally
He really was.
like he is number one for me. But yeah, I currently don't have any pets. No, but I know I've had a lot of dogs over the years. Kind of had a weird streak of like dogs getting hit by cars, man.
It's not funny. It's just the way you said
I
it.
know, but like, yeah, it sucks. Like, it had a lot of dogs get hit by cars, like in like weird, strange circumstances too. Like, we even had one like get out, like when we were camping, had one get out of our like fence and then run and find the highway and get hit. It's like, are you kidding me? So yeah, just weird stuff like that. So like, but yeah, man, I love pets though. I had a cat too. His name was Maverick.
Good name. Did you name him that, or did he come with that?
Oh, I think we named it was my old roommate Chris and I. We named him Maverick. Pretty sure, yeah, we named him that. But and he was a good cat, man. He was awesome, and I had him in our apartment in Fort Wayne for a while, and then once I moved to Columbia City, had to give him. My sister found a new home for him, so hopefully he's still around. I don't know. I haven't heard about him in a long time, but so he was a good cat. But yeah. I don't have any pets currently, but I do love pets. So, boom.
Fun turn. You got a pet?
No, I don't. I mean, my family has claimed my dog is their dog. So
you did.
I mean, for a while I did. I would have called. So the dog that's with my family currently, with my mom and my dad, I would claim more as my dog because I was around her the most and trained her and taught her how to do everything she knows.
What was
how
her
to
name?
Do. Gabby.
What kind of dog was she?
She's
she?
a mutt. Yeah. So she's definitely got some greyhound in her. She's chocolate lab.
Pretty cool.
Like, she's also way too smart for her own good, and she's a punk to this day. She'll walk. I'm going to my family's for Thanksgiving, and the highlight of this will be awesome. When she walks up and she looks at me with those knowing eyes of, yeah, I know I've wrapped this whole family around my finger and my paw, and I get whatever I want now. And you were the only one that stopped me before. So, and I'm like, well played. But they just got a new dog. So,
oh really? What kind did they get?
I think it's a pit bull.
Oh boy.
Why'd
I say it like that?
Oh boy.
The way my mom phrased it, she's like, "This is my dog," and I'm like, "It's gonna become my dad's dog here very soon because he's gonna have to train it because my brother doesn't know how to do anything."
Is it a puppy or full grown?
It's a puppy.
Oh wow.
So it's young. Well, it's a puppy still. It's still growing.
Have you seen it?
I've seen a picture of it.
Oh yeah.
So, and my dad and me are the only one that ever had any. Like, started trying to teach myself how to train dogs, and
Yeah.
I like had to teach Gabby things because she tried to bite everybody's face off for a very long period
Yeah.
of time.
Don't want that.
Nope.
She came from an abusive home, and nobody ever knew what happened to her. So she would get randomly aggressive, and we had to break her of that. Be like, we love you, but stop biting my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're gonna learn the hard way.
How old is she now?
She's getting up there. I don't even remember. We didn't know her age really when we got her either.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. How long have you had her?
Since I was in high school, so I think sophomore, junior year.
Oh yeah, so she could be up there.
Yeah.
She's getting up there. She's also her paws have started turning inward now, which was not how she was as a.
Interesting.
She's just the bigger she's gotten. She's just gone from like I'm a normal puppy to I'm constantly flexing.
bulldog.
Yeah, for no apparent reason.
Does she bite people still, or is she chilled with that?
No, she chilled with that a long time ago. She got tired of me. Either she tried to nip at my hand and I'd like shove it to the back of her jaw so I'd lock it, or grabbing her snout and being like, no. And she was like, okay, we got to stop doing
People
this.
think that's mean, man, but that's still like primally, that's how dogs are. You got to be the alpha, man, or they're going to take over.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, it's a good show today, man.
yeah.
I think how long have we gone here? Because we have a lot of stuff to talk
You've
about.
gone about an hour.
Here's the good news, guys. So I don't know about you guys, but I think there's so many good things, and I'm going to give a little update that we could use this to talk about on live, which should give you guys a reason to tune in live. Because a few things we got some articles on violence in pro-life, pro-abortion groups, which would be interesting. Like which one actually gets more violence? How many Americans are actually saying they go to religious services? It might shock you. Oh, yeah, man. We've got a big one on the we talked this a while back, but it's coming, and we actually heard a story about this recently in our own hometown.
Yeah.
About the United Methodist Church and their split and how that's affecting, and,
That just happened. That just happened not that long ago, yeah.
And then, of course, we have, not of course, but The Chosen, which we've been a big fan of. And
big fan.
how the series is, quote, impacting Gen Z that's on the verge of a revolution, which I think is powerful. And then finally, due to a good friend of ours, old AV.
AV, baby.
We want to talk about, Kyrie Irving has kind of come in the news and mentioned some of this thing, and there's a movement out there, a religious movement, and it's called generically the Black Hebrew Organization, right? And what they believe. And we want to talk about that because it's very important, because they use some of the terminology in Christianity, but the question is it actually Christianity? And, I think the answer is no, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
A lot of cool stuff. What?
Sneak peek.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff coming this Thursday. We'll make sure to really focus on that stuff.
Definitely.
So check us out this Thursday. Even though it's Thanksgiving, that's our plan. The team will probably sacrifice for that. If not, we'll see you here soon.
Boom.
That's the plan. Is that 8:30?
8:30.
8:30 Eastern Standard Time.
EST, baby.
Right? Correct.
I think so.
Yep.
All right.
I don't know.
You got
There's
anything
a lot
else
of
to
time
say?
zones.
It's EST.
It is EST. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you guys so much. If you guys are watching from any sort of social media platform, which would be Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, wherever it is, why don't you just share this video? You're already here. Just share it.
Give it a share.
You're hearing me right now. Just stop the video and share it. And other than that, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for supporting the show. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be doing it. So you guys are awesome.
You better
Thank
listen to the end.
Better listen.
Because something's coming, maybe.
Uh-oh.
If you're listening on any podcasts and stuff like that, pretty much everywhere has a 5-star review system now.
That's good.
So you can drop a 5-star review on there and do it. Go ahead. Give us a 5-star review. We dare you. Please.
We dare you, please.
Keep right.
So drop a 5-star blue.
Give us a blue.
5-star review. And, that's a Clintism. Great. 5-star review, and that will just help us on the business end of things. Also, leave a little blurb underneath it, and tell us how you like us, or your favorite energy drink, or your favorite cologne, or favorite ibuprofen brand. I guess.
I like smelling good.
So yeah, have a great day. Also, it's Giving Tuesday that we're filming this, so give.
Yeah, even if it's
Give.
past Tuesday, please consider giving and donating to this show. Man, it really does do a lot of good. It's nonprofit, tax deductible. www.theremnant.life/give. Take the drop down box and go down to Real Talk. It goes directly in the show. We would appreciate it so much.
Boom.
And thank you. I have nothing more to say other than thank you guys. Great show. Thank you so much, all of you out there, for the questions. And I want to end with this. Listen, we talked about depression. This time of year, holiday time of year, a lot of people are depressed. You know, statistics say. I want you to hear something. There's people out there, you right now listening, there are people that believe that you're alone, that no one loves you, that when people say they love you, they don't really mean it. All these lies are going through your head. I want you to hear me right now. They're lies. You are loved. You're not alone. And I mean this when I say this. Even if you feel like you have no one else, we may be recording this and you may be hearing it later, but we're here for you. We love you. We don't want you to ever feel alone. That link is active 24/7, 365 at www.theremnant.life/real-talk. That's REAL-talk. Grab that, go down and write, your name, maybe even a number. If you need someone to talk to and you don't mind, we will call you. We just don't want you to think that you're alone. If you're listening on Facebook, you can go on there and leave us a message. We'll get a hold of you. But we just want you to know this. Listen to me. You are not alone. We love you. And more importantly, God loves you. You're not an accident. He chose you. He made you. You're not a mistake. And man, you are far more valuable than you even know. So let that sink in and believe it, even if it doesn't feel true, because feelings are a lot of times, honestly, they're just not trustworthy. So, hey, hold on tight, right? Tomorrow is a new day. So hope you have a great day. We love you so much. Happy Thanksgiving, and God bless.